We are in front of a camp, the Center for Architectural and Metropolitan Planning. And inside this beautiful building, Prague is about to approve the biggest urban planning document since 1999. It's called the Metropolitan Plan, and it will determine where 350,000 new apartments can be built, where Metro D will run, and which neighborhoods will see property values skyrocket or stagnate. If you're buying property in Prague or even thinking about it, this is the single most important thing to understand right now. Because once this plan is approved, it's locked in for the next 20 or 30 years. My name is Robin, I'm founder of Expats Finance, and since 2014 I've been helping foreigners buy, sell and understand the Prague real estate market. Today I'm going to break it down in simple plain English, what this plan is, why it matters and which neighborhoods will win or lose. Let's go! Entry into the camp is free, and usually there are events which are with regards to the architecture or with the planning, but today there is a nomination for Český lev because this place is being rented for various events. So what exactly is this Metropolitan Plan? Think of it as a Prague's rulebook for the next 30 years. It's a zoning plan, a legal document that tells you where you can build what, how tall the buildings can be, what type of development is allowed, and where parks, school and metro lines will go. The current plan is from 1999, and since then it's been changed over 2,000 times. Developers, city districts, investors and everyone kept asking for exceptions. It became chaos. The new plan is designed to be stable, clear and predictable. For property buyers, predictability is everything. Here's the key innovation. The Metropolitan Plan divides Prague into 750 localities, 750 distinct areas, each with its own rules. Some are protected, meaning the character, height and density are locked in. No surprises, no ugly high-rise popping up next door. If you live in a family house area, there's not going to be a new tall building. Others are designed for development like brownfield, empty fields, areas near new metro station. This is exactly where the new 350,000 apartments will go. Each of these 750 areas is mapped out in detail, and you can read it if you know how to use the map, and I'll show you in a second. So why now? Because Prague is growing fast, more people, more jobs, more demand for housing, and the old plan couldn't handle it. So the city spent years creating this new one, gathering feedback from city districts, from residents, developers and urban planners, with the goal to create structure for Prague's growth without destroying what makes this city really special. I want to show you how exactly you can use the zoning plan. You go to a website called plan.praha.eu and you will see something like this, a lot of colors. And I will stay here with the colors for a short time because this is mainly the mostly important part you want to double check. I will start by our office, which is on Náměstí Míru. And the gray and white parts is basically parts where there is not going to be any change. Now, if you would move to something which is marked as yellow, let's say this part here, that specifies the city amenities or things like school or a public playground. So anything yellow means public amenities. If you look into red generally specifies any massive changes. So you can see here next to Masarykovo nádraží, you know that there is a current development happening. So yes, this is indeed a subject of big structural change. If we move on then to Rohanský ostrov or close to Karlínské nábřeží, then you will see this is mainly marked as yellow, meaning this part is designated to remain for amenities. It will be most likely a park or just a walking area, while this part, the red one, is definitely to be built upon. This circle indicates, and this one you can look up here in the, we call it legend, explanation what it is, and this one should be most likely a school which is going to be built here in Karlín. You can click on any part of the map, but it will mainly show you the whole area. So it will show you about Vinohrady and the plan for Vinohrady in the future. I recommend to just run this through translation software. What is important for me is you see this line. This is definitely the new metro which is going to be built. And we can see that this cross would indicate a new station. So you can follow up the same thing. You can look up for the next ones, which is going to be here. It is close to is it náměstí bratří Sinků, if I'm not mistaken, and there is going to be 2 entries to the metro. Similarly, you can look up anywhere in Prague. You know that in Smíchov there is a massive development. If you want to know where it can be built, well, just follow this map, because this zoning plan is going to be valid for a long time, for decades at least. I also want to point you at the Bubny, the new development area, which is in between of Holešovice and Letňany. You know that right now there is not much things happening except of the new train station, which is a very nice feature. You can also see here there is a new red line here across the river, which if you check there is nothing today, but this is going to be a new tram line. Moving on to other parts, for example Palmovka, you can see that Palmovka is going to see a massive upgrade in terms of the development, the building, both the amenities, also the green part suggests some surprise parks or some green areas. And similarly like this, you can move to anywhere in Prague to see whether there is any development planned in the future. For example, around Kolbenova Street, this is going to be all changed. What is nice about Vinohrady is that there is not much development happening, which is one of the factors why the prices are very high in this location, because where there is no new flats being built, well, you can only buy the currently existing ones, and the scarcity drives the price up. If you're wondering what this number represents to, this represents the maximum height of a building. So you see that in Vinohrady, everywhere here there is either 6, rarely 8, meaning 8 stories. And if we move to, for example, this area or anything else where there is a new development, let's go to Smíchov. In Smíchov, you can see numbers such as 6 or 12, which indicates the maximum height, again, of the buildings. And also to protect the general areas. Personally, I live now in Vokovice, in Prague 6, and this is a nice area where are mainly family houses. And you can see that this is in the zoning plan. No building can have more than 2 stories, rarely 3. There is one area there are 4 stories, but there is no reason, I mean, it's not possible with the new zoning plan that there is going to be big buildings in middle of Vokovice. The city simply doesn't allow it. However, in this area, in Vokovice, there is going to be a new development, but it will not be any huge towers with 10 or 15 floors. It can be, again, maximum 6 stories. Prague wants to protect its architecture, its look, and this is how they enforce it, with the maximum height of a buildings, among other things. You can notice that on the upper part you have a lot of different views to say of the zoning plan. Mostly you're going to use Z02, which is a summary of the main parts, but if you would switch, for example, to Z03, this pinpoints the infrastructure, so focuses on the transport system. Under S03, you can find the specifics of the maximum height, as we covered before. Oh, and if you notice anywhere there are 2 numbers, 8 versus 10, it means that the buildings can have 2 levels. You might see that some developers, they build towers which are above the average height of the most of the development, and this is the difference in the numbers, meaning in this example the building can have 8 stories, but some part of it can go up to 10. If you want to understand the zoning plan in big detail, I would recommend to use AI for this purpose. Since this is not really English friendly and you can't access this in English, I recommend to always take a print screen, drop it to ChatGPT and do the translation for you. Also, if you want to know in more detail how exactly the zones or the views look like, just simply ask AI. I mean, I've done it here and it gives you pretty good overview of what you can find where. A complementary website to use to the zoning plan is Praha Zítra. Prague tomorrow. You can go to prague.camp/Praha-Zítra or just simply Google Praha Zítra. This will get you here. This is a very useful website because this lists all the approved or in a close to approval plans in Prague. And we can be specific again. We can go to Vinohrady, my favorite area, and we can look onto what's happening here, what's being built. And for example, in Rigrovi Sady, there is something happening, some new development, but it is going to be the amenities part. It's speaking about the playground or the outside area for sports and multifunctional hall. And here you can see the visualization and some expected information about when it is due. Now, this one doesn't have any dates in it, but you know that at least the investor, who is Prague 2, is actively discussing this topic of improving the Riga Vysady. Other part which in our area is going to be changed is obviously the new Metro D line, which specifies a lot of information about this part. Or if we go back to our square, you can see that there is also planned renovation of the theater. However, this information has been lastly updated 5-6 years ago, so take it with a pinch of salt, and you can reach out to those people to double check about what's the current state. We can see on Římska there is a development project which is being done with these architects, and the source of information is the website or Svoboda and Williams, who are the sales agents. On Praha Zítra you can also filter with regards to, for example, I am only interested in private developments or developments for living, regular developments, and there's this new interesting one, Vinohradská 8. It's right above the National Museum, and there's going to be actually a development in Vinohrady, which is, there are developments which are typically refurbishing old apartments or old buildings, but this one is going to be brand new. Check this out, and if you want to know more information about this part, just click here and see where it gets you. Now, if you look into Vinohradská 8, the visualization is, I don't know how it passed. I mean, it doesn't really fit into the Vinohrady vibe, but it's in the corner of Vinohrady, so I guess that's why it passed. The builder is Penta, and it's supposed to be finished in the second quarter of 2028. There you have it. Prague Camp is a huge institution, and double check always the Praha Zítra with the Metropolitan Plan, because here in the Metropolitan or the zoning plan you will get a general idea what's approved in the future. I mean, approved in terms of possibilities, but if you want to be specific what's actually happening there or what's going to be built there in the near future, go to Praha Zítra. We are now at the future station of Metro D on Náměstí Míru, one of 2 stations. But let's go back to the zoning plan, because the old one left huge gaps. Places that clearly needed housing but had no legal framework. The zoning plan fixes that. Take the fields around Letňany metro station. Currently it's empty, but the metro is already there. Now the plan designates this area for new housing. And if you want to know how tall, now you know how to use the map. Or the area around Písnice, the future final stop of Metro D. Southern Prague, affordable land, and soon a direct metro access in 10-15 minutes to the city center. By the way, if you want to know everything about Metro D, where it's going, when it opens, and which stations matter the most, we made a full video on that. It's here, or here. Link also in the description. And then there's Bubny, Prague's largest brownfield redevelopment. You can recognize because recently they opened there a new train station. Former industrial zone near Holešovice or Letná, and the plan includes new Philharmonic Hall, which is going to be a huge thing in Prague. This is where will be some of those 350,000 new apartments, which is a part of the zoning plan. And the Metropolitan Plan or the zoning plan gives you confidence that infrastructure will follow the housing, not the other way around. And then there's the northern terminal, the future high-speed rail station connecting Prague to Dresden or Berlin. If you've never heard about it, just Google VRT trains. New district planned around it. Currently underdeveloped land, but in 10 to 15 years, this could be the next huge thing, where to put your money into. The point is, these are the areas where opportunity is, and the zoning plan or the Metropolitan Plan shows you exactly what is going to happen there. So here is what the Metropolitan Plan tells us: where the new metro lines will run, which neighborhoods are protected, where brownfields will transform, where affordable housing will open up, where transport hubs are coming. The plan is about to lock the Prague's development for the next 20 or 30 years. If you buy in the right place before that lock happens, you're positioning yourself ahead of the market. If you wait until everything is built and prices have already adjusted, you'll pay the premium. My tip: Before you buy anywhere in Prague these days, open plan.praha.eu. Type in the address or location and look at the zones. Check the infrastructure layer. Ask yourself, is this area protected or designated for development? Is new transport coming? Are there planned parks, schools, civic amenities? 5 minutes of research can really save you from overpaying or help you spot an opportunity no one else sees yet. The Metropolitan Plan is heading for final approval in mid of 2026, and this is exactly the kind of complexity we help expats navigate every day. My name is Robin, I'm founder of Expats Finance, and since 2014 we've been helping foreigners to buy, sell and finance their property goals in the Czech Republic. Thanks for watching. Check out also our next video and see you in the next one. Oh, and by the way, if you're watching us on social media, I would really appreciate if you take the effort, click onto YouTube and give us a subscribe there. See you!